club.
3, 2, 1. Well, welcome back to the Stoke FM Morning Show, everyone. You're here with Larrett and April, and we are here with Negs and Matt from the Revelstoke Cricket Club. How are you guys doing today?
We are doing fantastic.
Good, thank you.
Good morning to Revelstoke.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks so much for coming by. It's so great to meet you in person. Not to see you from my bike passing by the field.
Yeah,
That's right. No, I drove past on Saturday, I think it was, and I saw some people out playing on the field there by the old school eatery. We are talking about cricket, of course, a sport that is not super familiar to most of our listeners. I'm sure a bunch of you know what cricket is, but it is definitely a game that not many Canadians are super familiar with. So we're really happy to have you guys here today, because we love talking about growing sports in Revelstoke and getting people involved and bringing out the community to all kinds of cool new things. And so, like right off the top, just a brief description. What is cricket? For those who, most people will recognize it, but don't really know what it is.
Yeah. Well, funnily enough, actually, at one time, a very long time ago, cricket was actually the number one sport in Canada. It's a game played by two teams of 11. You've got a batting team and a bowling team, or a fielding team, if you want to call them that. One batting team goes first, tries to set as high a target as possible, whilst the team that's fielding tries to limit that score, get them out for as little as possible, and then they switch over and that fielding team go into bat and try and chase down that total.
And so, how long does each team get to bat? I'm pretty sure there's two sets of rules, isn't there?
There's like 3 or 4 different formats now.
Yeah.
Wow. So there's there can be 20 overs. They call it T20, and there can be one-day game. There can be 50 overs. So each team has to ball 50 overs to the opposite team. Then they will score. Then next team will play. Mm-hmm. And it also depends. We are playing on domestic level as a friendly match. So sometimes we consider only 10 overs due to limited players, and sometimes 8 overs. But if you talk about international format, it's like T20, one day, and test matches also. Test matches go for few days, 4 to 5 days.
Yeah, and that's what that's kind of the thing that most people hear about first. Oh, they go on for days.
Yeah.
That's the best. It's the best format of them all.
And and that's just something that's
Correct.
just so foreign to most North Americans.
Yeah.
Most sports have a clock.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, for us here, even I grew up in Toronto, and going to see the Blue Jays play was that's a long game.
Yeah.
Compared to something like basketball
Correct.
or soccer.
And a lot of sports, do what they can to limit the time to get it in faster. But yeah, no, and so this isn't the first iteration of the Revelstoke Cricket Club. There was one about, what was it, 80 or 90 years ago?
Yeah. So you can find this information out actually if you go and chat to Kathy at the museum. And 1892 to 1938, there was a cricket club here in Revelstoke. It had a fully functioning club, a pavilion. There's old black and white team photos, and it's quite interesting to sort of see those snippets of it. They would play games across all the local towns that had clubs: Salmon Arm, Vernon, Golden. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Amazing to think about that. Yeah.
But I believe after getting first war, it got scattered and no one shown interest to building Ravi Cricket Club again.
Yeah.
And that's how we got away from this game. But the motto is to be here today, me and Matt, my friend. We are trying to engage more people, and so they can show their enthusiasm towards this game. It's really fantastic and cool game. And I would say the people who knows bit kind of baseball, it's kind of same. It will be really easy for them to learn this game. The rules are pretty much similar, and that's how you play it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And how many people are in the club?
So right now we're getting sort of turnouts of anywhere between 12 to 16 down each night, which is really good. I reckon there's probably loosely about 20 members. We've got 2 set nights a week that we do it, but then if the weather's been good, everyone just sort of drops a message in the group and says, hey, let's get down there. So depending on people's work commitments or whatever, there's probably about 20 people involved with it at the moment.
Wow, that's good.
So for people who are interested,
Yeah.
because obviously you guys are looking for more people to join and play with you, what kind of equipment do people require?
None.
None.
We've got it all there. Balls, bats, the wickets, cones. Everything's there. We've provided out of our own pockets that we brought over either from home or bought online here. So just bring themselves a smiley face and an open mind.
Correct.
That's awesome. That's great. It sounds like there's a lot of dedication for sure, right? Like a lot of you're passionate about it. Those who are showing up and bringing the gear, and that's really nice. So when did this start off? Like here in Revelstoke, at least, because it obviously had this quite long hiatus after you were saying kind of the war happened, and then it just sort of disappeared in this area. But
yeah, as far I got to know through my friends, like local people, they used to play cricket here, like since last 2-3 years, and we just met them randomly one day, and they asked us, we play cricket, do you want to join us? Then we went there, we saw the pitch is kind of good, and players are also showing great enthusiasm towards cricket, and we start building a WhatsApp group, and we start convincing our friends, colleagues at workplace, we are playing cricket there at this place, you should definitely come and check it out. And many people came and they loved it. Even surprisingly, the people from all age, in 40s and 50s, they came and they play with us, and they're learning it, they're loving it. So that's a good thing, and many young people, youth people, many pedestrians and cycle people, they go pass through by there, they stop and ask about it, hey, how do you play this game? This looks so amazing. So this is how it's going up and up, but our request, the ground is okay, but we need little support from Revelstoke community or people who take care of these kind of things, because the grass is growing so fast. It's raining these days, and grass is growing so fast, and we don't have any equipment through which we can cut it, trim it.
We're at a stage now with it where we feel we can actually take the club forward in a big way. I think the first thing we want to do is actually legitimize the club within the community. That's partly why we're sort of on here today, is again spreading that word around. I don't know what the formalities are of making Revelstoke Cricket Club an actual thing so that it's acknowledged across the community. That's step one. We've got a short-term aim this year where we actually want to play proper traditional matches against towns where there are clubs with the appropriate cricket facilities. There's only 2 nearby, that's Kamloops and Kelowna. And so we're in talks with them to try and make that happen this year. But then, as Nags alluded to, sort of long term, we actually want to find somewhere in Revi that's suitable to build an actual cricket ground for long term, like they had back 100 years ago, where the facilities, that the playing area is conducive to that. Where we are now is brilliant, it gets lots of people involved, but it does have a lot of obstacles, and you wouldn't be able to bring a team to actually play there, that's for sure.
So excuse me. So obviously the team wants to grow and emulate some of the other communities in the area. And obviously we have kind of a space limitation in Revelstoke too, because I know there's a lot of groups and sports that need their space, and we've got to come up with a way to share it all.
Sure.
Correct.
Well, yeah. I mean, earlier this week I did send an email to the council just to say, look, we'd love some help. So I sent that to a couple of people there. No response yet, but we'll wait for that one because it's certainly not something that's going to happen overnight. But we're, as Nag said, we've got a lot of enthusiasm. We're very determined. Cricket is such an amazing community sport. It's available for all ages, levels, all sexes, and from where I come from back in the UK, and I'm sure from where Nags come from also, cricket is such an integral part of those communities. I don't see why it can't be here in Canada. There's so many different cultures and backgrounds that enjoy the sport. Revelstoke can be one too.
Well, yeah, and here in Revelstoke, there's a lot more cultures coming into the community over the last 5 to 10 years. And, you know, this is a really exciting thing because to a lot of people this is new. Right? And new is exciting and fun. And you get to learn stuff and get in on the ground floor, folks.
Well, everybody's welcome to come down. Anyone who's listening or interested. Like most sessions now, we're getting 1 or 2 new people, including some Canadians. And it's funny, they all come in and straight away they're holding that bat like a baseball. So that's step one. And then they sort of throw it like they're pitching it. And you know, we have to say no, it's a little bit more of a windmill action. If any Canadians actually do want to know, there's a really good 10-minute YouTube video that explains cricket in baseball terminology. So if you Google that video, it pretty much will put you on the right path.
I learned about it pretty quick last fall when there was a cricket channel on free preview on cable. And so I was watching that and I was like, oh yeah, and getting all the little nuances. And once you understand, like once you watch it for a little bit, it comes to you pretty quick. So
I did watch a game in New Zealand one day. Like we spent the day. And it was beautiful. The weather was great and, you know, it was quite...
enormous crowd always, like, you know, it's like
it was good. More people kept turning up and people were having picnics and you know, you could kind of like I liked it. It was nice.
Amazing.
But I would definitely need a little bit more time with it to like
the best
to follow it better. It was very enjoyable.
The best way to learn it is honestly to get involved. If like you know, I've found that when we start trying to explain to someone the terminology from minute one, it just doesn't work. Just throw a ball in the hand and a bat, and then they learn as they go.
That's how I learn anyway, right?
And with sports like cricket and baseball, it's do or die, man. I used to coach baseball, and I used to tell the kids, you know, always pay attention. Because a lot of the time, it doesn't seem like there's a lot going on in this sport. But when it does happen, it happens really, really quickly.
It's
so
unpredictable.
You have to be ready.
It's unpredictable. Game is unpredictable.
And
you have to sit back.
I imagine cricket is very much the same. So.
Just when you think you've seen it all on a cricket pitch, something else will happen. That's one of the beauties of the sport.
No, that's awesome. That's
the
beauty about any sport.
Like we kind of did touch on the history here in Revelstoke, but like, do you know much about like its actual its history, like as a game, like where it kind of started out, and because as you say, right, it's very, very popular in other countries, like not so much in North America, but the United Kingdom. Like,
a lot of the British Empire.
Former
British Empire.
Correct. So I believe it was invented in England, right? So cricket originated from England. Then, as he mentioned, like, you know, the British Empire, they were in different countries like India, Sri Lanka, so they adopted it. And I guess in India it was like around 1836 when cricket came to India, and by like 1852 they made the national team. And after that, it was going good and good.
I think sort of one of the earliest sort of biggest matches. It's now like the most important series in the world, like for international cricket, which is the Ashes. That was, I think it was 1882. So that would have been like 10 years before Revelstoke Cricket Club was actually created. And it was a match between England and Australia. Australia thrashed the UK, thrashed England, sorry. And then that's when the series was born. And now every few years, England and Australia play like a 5-match series. And there's other things though, like franchise tournaments are now a massive thing within cricket. In India, the IPL attracts billions of viewers every week. It's like a 6-week competition. It's incredible. It's fireworks, it's colours, it's entertainment. And it just, you know, it's watched, I think, the sport is watched by about 2.6 billion worldwide.
Correct.
Wow.
That's a lot of people. That's close to half the world.
Sounds like there's a great opportunity then here, I think, in Revelstoke. Absolutely.
Well, where do people go to communicate with you online?
Facebook. We've got a Facebook group. It's just Revelstoke Cricket Club. So that's one way you can do it. We do have a WhatsApp group, which is kind of like internal stuff as well. But our sessions, for definite, like weather permitting, we do Wednesdays and Saturdays, 6 till about 8:30, down in the park next to the Old School Eatery. And anybody's welcome to join.
Cool.
Excellent.
Well, we will post that Facebook page to our Facebook page when we post this interview to SoundCloud later today. So you
fantastic.
can listen to it again, share it with your friends, and spread the word about cricket. Revelstoke needs a cricket grounds, folks.
Yeah.
So exciting. It's our mission.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'm going to jump on that then.
And now that you've got the Stoke FM morning show bump, you should expect your messages to go crazy now.
Absolutely.
Right.
So,
Well,
Phone will be off the hook.
well, do you guys want to try and come call our first game when we do get to have like our first match here in
Whoa.
Revel?
that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You
That's
should
an honor.
definitely.
That would be
That would be
awesome.
so
We'll have
cool.
the Stoke FM broadcast booth.
Yep.
And in the brand new Stoke FM cricket stadium.
Yeah,
Or
that's
Revelstoke
it.
Cricket Stadium. And
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
amazing.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks for joining us today, fellas.
Yeah,
And,
thank you both.
Good luck to you
It's really
going
great.
forward. And we hope to speak to you again about the progress of cricket in the future.
Thanks
Yeah.
very much,
Thank
guys.
you
To have you
so
back in the
much.
studio. So good to meet you
Awesome.
both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to get you folks back into some more music. We've got the Arcade Fire coming up next with Keep the Car Running, and we'll have the news in just a few minutes. You're listening to April and Larry. It's the one and only Stoke FM
I
morning.
guess I have to go.
Oh yeah.
I'll catch you
There you
later.
go, man. Sorry, went a little long, man, but